happened in the very end? Let's do spoiler alert.
Well, Cindy Lou Who invited the Grinch to her house for dinner.
And did the Grinch end up being grumpy at the end, or was he a better person for it?
He was very kind.
He was a kind person.
Yes.
So underneath all that being nasty and everything like that, there was a kind person underneath.
Yes.
He just wanted to be included.
Yeah, because he was left out on everything.
Thank goodness he had Max.
And Fred.
I'm sure the Grinch probably runs his own podcast.
All right.
And on that bombshell, we'll cut to the... what time is it, Pip?
No, we're not doing that now. You can do it later. No.
Yes.
No, not now. You can do it later after we've gone.
Yes, but I'm going to immediately start it from here.
Well, we're ducking out. You say, thank you for having me, Paul.
Thank you all for having me, Mr.
And you say, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to everyone out there listening.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there listening.
And just repeat everything I say.
I just repeat everything I say.
That's what I thought.
That's
Okay.
what I thought.
All right. We'll be back in a minute. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the podcast pick of the week. Thank you. Focus, Pip.
I can't believe you just did that. So I'm reading in my little book and Paul's just gone smack on the page.
Thank you. You've just, smacked everybody in the ear now.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well,
I
now...
am focused. Look at me, listening to you, talking to all of our listeners.
That's right, all three of them. Now...
And their dog.
Don't forget the dog. Okay, now, the podcasting pick of the week this week is a little Australian podcast that I've had. It's a bit of a favourite, and I've given to you from time to time to listen to various different episodes. And I know you haven't listened hugely on them, but I've given you particularly funny episodes that I've thought is quite good that you've listened to. So you're aware of them and can talk on their style of sense of humour.
Yes.
Yes. The podcast that I'm talking about here is The Sweetest Plum.
Those two boys are actually very funny, but it's weird because some of their conversations just go off on tangents. I know we do that as well.
Do say. Well, no, I believe that their entire podcast is based purely on a tangent. It's just one big tangent that goes everywhere.
But sometimes there's like links and you can see where it's all linked up. And other times it's like, what were they discussing at the start? I've forgotten.
Well, look, if you think we're bad for going off the beaten path, these guys leave us looking quite good in that. But they're extremely funny.
They're very funny and witty.
They were professional comedians and they're professional radio men.
You can tell.
You can tell there is, like, we're talking good quality production here. But, yeah, they really go loose. Now, the language is quite free. Far more free than,
Do we
for
need
example...
to say that now?
Well, I think so. We've been shown the way by our good friends at
Capes on the Couch.
Capes on the Couch. So, yes,
I
apparently...
didn't realise our language was so free, but obviously it is.
I say, be free language. Oh, fuck.
But these guys are much more free than we are.
They'll use words that I won't say into a microphone, yes. I might say it at the postman if he's late, but...
That's not recorded.
No, it's definitely not recorded. So, yes. So, these guys are very hardcore, but they are extremely funny.
Very funny.
Frenetic, I believe. I think at least half of the episode is listening to Declan Fay laughing at, what's his name? Mr. Maxwell. It starts with N. I can't remember. Anyway, Mr. Maxwell.
You listen to it a lot more than I do.
I do, but I just had a mind fart. But everybody who listens to this podcast is well and truly used to that by now. Yeah, look, guys, get onto these guys because they're very, very funny. They've got quite a large group of listeners.
But they come out sporadically, don't they?
They have been of late. They've been a little bit like they've been popping them out once a month. But their podcasts go back... And in my humble opinion, their early stuff is probably the funniest of
the ones I've been listening to.
Yeah. They're very, very like their early stuff, where they simply did not give a shit. And they just went out swinging the bat. and it was terrific. So some of the stuff they'll talk about might be a little outdated, but seriously, very, very funny stuff. So, yep, so that's The Sweetest Plum, and I give them a big thumbs up. Maybe we should give them a little rating too.
No, don't do that. No. Stick to the movies. We're not professional enough for that.
No. Oh, well, they lose marks on the fact that they've been sporadic in their output of late.
Oh, but
it's very difficult for podcasts to be consistent, and we were just having a conversation about that before we started.
You don't know what's going on. They might be doing other jobs and other things, and
well, that's right.
In their lives.
They have got work, and and then they've got young children that have come into the. They essentially started it when they both lost their jobs. They both got sacked at the same time,
Match made in heaven,
so
really.
I thought, well, what do we do now? Well, let's make our own radio show, and away they went. And so they're terrific. They're really, really good.
They're very funny.
I would recommend starting from the start and listening to the very early ones, almost from day one.
You can almost pick though. That's not. You don't lose anything by not listening to them in order.
No, because they're just talking about any old shit. They don't really. It's not chronological.
No.
Although there is a little bit of carryover from one to the next, but yeah, it's not. There's not a lot. Not a lot. Okay, all right.
So that's The Sweetest Plum.
The Sweetest Plum. Do yourself a favour and listen. They're very good.
Okay, so this week I put up a Christmassy sort of film, and you put up a film that you thought resembled Christmas. It doesn't.
No, I didn't say that it resembles Christmas. I said that it is a religious film and it makes you think about humanity. Did I say that? Or am I just covering my bases?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and
I think
listen.
I might be doing a little bit of back covering here.
But first, we're going to talk about the film that I put up, which was Love Actually.
Love Actually.
That came out in 2003.
Pip, would you like to do the synopsis,
It's going to be short.
Is it?
Yep. 9 intermingled stories examine the complexities of the one emotion that connects us all, love.
May I say, perhaps I can do a better synopsis than that. May I say, it is a fugue of love, hope and betrayal.
Did this touch you, this film, Paul?
Touch me?
As in you just...
I was roughly handled by this film. I have to say, we sit there, okay, can I just cast a scene
Wait,
for you?
but first, Paul hasn't seen this film until I say, Paul, Merry Christmas, you're watching Love Actually.
Yes.
So he hasn't seen it, and this is the first
I've never
time.
even heard of it. And
You've never heard of it?
Well, apparently it's a big show, but
People watch it nearly every Christmas.
Oh, my God, I don't understand. Yeah, well, I suppose if they enjoy having their balls kicked,
Anyway, go ahead, I interrupted.
It's Christmas, quick, kick me in the balls.
Go for it, Paul.
All right, so I sat down and watched this, and I was getting ready to go, and
Was it with Jolie or by yourself?
Ooh, I don't trust you. There was nobody else in the house at all.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, now I've got the scene.
Yes, and then somebody did show up, and then I quickly turned everything off and scooted into the bedroom and watched it. So, oh, no, we're not going down that road. So anyway, I sit down and get ready. They've got the peanuts there and the cashews and the beer and everything, ready to roll. Stop making noises, Pip.
Sorry, I was putting my glass down.
Oh, shocking. Professionalism.
I am talent challenged. We've discussed that. Anyway, so you were watching this with your peanuts and cashews.
That's correct. And I'm ready to go. Click it on. Away we go. And I was not bawling, but had tears streaming down my face by about 30 seconds in.
Through comedy or through just emotion?
Through... how can I describe it? I wasn't sad, but I get very... Well, I've discussed that I'm sentimental every time the credits come up. But it's true. When I see... Jesus, you're a shithead. I like shows where we think better of ourselves and we give ourselves a bit of a pat on the back for what wonderful little chimps we are.
Which is funny because you keep putting up films where humanity's being screwed over.
I occasionally have to refill my cynicism.
Okay.
And
a healthy mix is not bad.
Well, that's what I strive to do.
Okay.
So otherwise it'll all be like the saviour.
But anyway, we're talking about Love Actually.
Yes. Love Actually, yes. You know, I'm not getting distracted, but yeah, 30 seconds in, and I had tears streaming down, and I just immediately got to the credits came up for the start of the credits and the music. Immediately, furiously started texting Pip, going, "God damn it, I'm already bawling, and it's only 30 seconds in. God fucking damn it."
What just made me laugh is that you asked my daughter earlier about a sad part in the film, and she was telling you, and you say, "Did you cry?" She went, "No."
No, disdain. The look, I should have described the look as disdain. It was utter disdain.
And that you're there going, "Oh, gosh."
I was getting all teary just from the description of the Grinch. But look, yeah, so very, very good. It's just the humanity. Because as I have said, which you have, remember when we said, do you not believe in love? And I do, wholeheartedly. You know, I'm a terrible romantic in that respect.
We were talking about in Baby Driver. He said, how could they so quickly fall in love? It didn't make sense to me.
Well, it didn't, because it was just the sexual love. It was.
I know, but so for
Yes.
you, that sort of love isn't...
Love can be as simple as, somebody who, can sit there and hold your hand. That's as meaningful as, 7 hours banging away in the cot. Do you know what I'm saying?
But in this film, Love Actually, David, who's played by Hugh Grant, who's the Prime Minister, falls for Natalie, who's a junior staff member, and he hasn't had much to do with her except that she serves him biscuits and tea.
So
yet they fall madly in love.
Yeah.
And I bet it made you feel really good too.
Oh, that one wasn't a convincing one. Like, they have a lot of different types of love.
They have lots of different types of love in this.
They do. And
which love for you felt the most real?
Well, let's talk about each one as they come, because there was about, as you said, 9 various threads.
That's what when you slapped the book, I was actually trying to count and going, was there 9 or was there 10?
It doesn't matter. Well, let's just go through them quickly, and some of them we can be able to dismiss quite quickly.
Okay.
And others,
Well, the first love I'll talk about is so it was David and Natalie, so the Prime Minister and his
a very
staff
charming
member.
man, and the girl was kind of. That one was more of a look after me, daddy kind of thing. It was a bit creepy.
What?
Well, he's from the upper echelons of society, and
Maybe he just
she's
enjoyed
from
her for being so real.
Well, she was bloody real. I'll tell you, she was real right off the cuff. She was swearing in front of the Prime Minister on the
She
first.
was nervous.
Yes.
Some people swear when they're nervous.
I can't fucking believe it, but
So, but you didn't think that one was real enough. That's not your sort of love.
No, well, I mean, it was typically British in that, oh dear God, I'm feeling something. I better push her away and send her off to the broom closet or something like that. And he pushed her away. And
Well, because he didn't push her away until Billy Bob Thornton, who was the US president,
was groping her.
Well, and then he did something that he wasn't going to do based on that.
Yep.
He's like, oh, well, that's not good decision making, so I better make sure I don't do that based on that.
On her part, I mean, she wasn't exactly the most professional maid.
She wasn't a maid.
What was she?
She was a junior staff member. Don't look at me like that. She wasn't a maid. She gave
Whatever
him,
title they need to help them feather duster the house, I don't care.
She wasn't feather dusting.
Whatever.
She was giving him paperwork to go over and his messages and his mail and stuff. So she's like an admin girl.
Right.
God.
Okay,
And when you
that's
work,
fine.
And when you
That's
work
fine.
with someone, you shouldn't, that's a hard call to make.
Yep, sure. I'm just being sexist now. I realise that.
I feel like smacking you over the head.
Continue. Oh, well, I mean, okay, so I didn't feel that one.
Okay,
I felt it at the very end. I thought that was quite good, but it was a bit cutesy. You know what I mean? It was a bit ho-hum. It wasn't a really good one for me.
Okay, what about Alan Rickman's character Harry and Emma Thompson's character Karen, who are married with children?
Yeah, look, that was sensational.
And
but I mean, it's Alan Rickman, for God's sake, and Emma Thompson. I mean, of course,
You
it was
can't
gonna
get
be
much better than that.
Doesn't get better than that. I thought.
do you know she had to wear a fat suit for that role? Just as a bit of extra info.
Well, of course, because she's a beautiful woman.
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
it was just so funny to make her look more like a married wife, frumpy.
yes. Yeah,
They
frump.
made it,
Go,
make her,
go the frump.
So they put a suit on her. I'm like, wow, just to give that more of a...
Poor Alan Rickman. I'm so sad that he's gone.
I know, he's such a brilliant actor.
Anyway, yes, so